Have you ever read a book and your most common thought while reading it was, why didn't I get to this one sooner? At times I feel this way while reading through a commentary. I wish I had that information for a earlier sermon. I felt that way while reading Jody Dillow's Reign of the Servant Kings. I wish I had been introduced to his teaching earlier. And I continually felt that way while reading When God Breaks Your Heart, Choosing Hope in the Midst of Faith Shattering Circumstances by Ed Underwood. This 2017 book by Ed speaks straight into life's darkest moments, those moments of pain, suffering, and failure. And Ed brings the light of compassion, hope, and a dash of understanding. In 2019, I laid down in bed one night, and immediately when I laid down, I hopped straight back up because it felt like there was a knife sticking out of my mattress, stabbing me right in the back. And this sudden onslaught of shoulder pain led to months of poor sleep, tear inducing pain as I would pace through our home at night, followed by a difficult period of physical therapy. And during those nights, I felt like I was on the edge of despair as I poured out my heart to God and asked Him why He took away the ability to lie down and sleep at night. It didn't make any sense, and my lack of sleep was kind of driving me insane. I wish I could have had Ed's book while I was struggling with the pain that kept me up at night. Ed's own battle with lymphoma, which, to be honest, I had no idea it could be as bad as it was for him. It took Ed far beyond the struggles that I dealt with the pain that I endured. He can speak with such frankness, honesty, and clarity into your battle with pain and suffering. So I'm saying to you today, if you are enduring that dark tunnel of suffering, or you know someone who is, Ed's book is a must read. And if you're thinking, well, my husband or my child or my best friend is going through a despairing darkness, but I don't think they'd ever open a book on it. This is the time for you to read that book so that you can speak grace and wisdom into their lives. If you have a few moments, I would like to tell you a little bit more about When God Breaks Your Heart by Ed Underwood. Welcome to Rev Reads. If you want to discover more books that will help you to find joy in the midst of grief, please subscribe to the channel in order to stay up to date with my latest book reviews. Also, please like and share this video with others. Your likes, your shares is what allows Ed Underwood's books to get shared and spread out with others. And I really want more people to know about this book in particular. And I want to say thank you to the Buy Me a Coffee members. Your support allows me to cover the costs of Rev Reads in order to produce new reviews. And if you've benefited from Rev Reads, I would love for you to consider supporting the channel at a membership that starts at only $3 a month. The layout of When God Breaks Your Heart is simple. Using 8 chapters, Ed walks the reader through both his own journey with suffering, which wasn't as of yet finished when this book was first put to print, as it came before his recovery. And as Ed walks you through his own story, he also walks you through John chapter 11, that powerful story where Jesus refused to heal Lazarus, and then in his grace came and called his friend back from the tomb. And he uses his own life experience and the wisdom of John 11 to speak into the darkness, those moments when you feel like your own faith is ruined. And the lessons in this book are profound and powerful. Ed teaches the reader the importance of praying honestly. God can take your most honest complaints and doubts. They don't faze him in the slightest. In fact, God already knows what you're thinking, so you might as well be honest in your prayers and bring those feelings before God. Ed provides a strong example of the importance of honesty in prayer, even if that prayer is as honest as, Lord, I don't know if I can trust you anymore because of all this. Bring those concerns before him. And I also love the way he balanced speaking into the lives of those who are suffering and doing so with wisdom. He first presents the simple truth that even if you don't know what to say when someone else is suffering, show up. Be there, even if you don't know what to say. Pray over them. He uses this powerful example of Dr. John Walvoord to help show that even when we don't know what exactly to say, the words won't come. The key most often is to simply be there. He also balances out with the important that we can't be callous in our comments. We can't think that no matter what comes out of our mouth will be a comfort to someone else. Don't be the fool when others are suffering and try to provide some great advice that really isn't good advice at all and just makes the suffering worse. It's important to share both points of view when it comes to our loved ones who are suffering because we want to be wise when we speak into their pain, but we also don't want to make things worse. And we can't allow that fear of, what if I am going to make things worse, to keep us stuck in our homes when a loved one is suffering in the hospital. I think the best thing, though, about this book overall, my favorite part about this, is that Ed really weeps with you in your suffering in the pages of When God Breaks Your Heart. He is someone who had it all together and then had it all broken. And so you can know when your what was put together is now broken, that he understands. He gets it. And I felt like a large majority of this book is just spending time with someone who gets it. And in a way, so much of this book is a practical illustration and demonstration of the shortest verse of the Bible, John chapter 11, verse 35. Jesus wept. Why does Jesus weep in John 11:35? He certainly knew what he was going to do in his display of glory when he called Lazarus back from the darkness of death and decay. And then he spoke life into his friend. Why did Jesus weep right before his miracle? I think it's because Jesus knows the importance of mourning with those who mourn, weeping with those who weep, having someone grip your hand in the midst of the pain, especially someone who knows the pain that you're dealing with. And very often in our pain, we don't have someone who's been there and suffered that. Well, I believe Ed's suffering was so severe that while you're reading this book, you're going to be thinking, here is someone who understands. Here's someone who's going to weep with me exactly as Jesus was doing in John 11:35. I mean, to be honest, what's the point of having the power to call the dead back to life if you lack the compassion to weep with those who are mourning? And the beautiful thing about Jesus is he has the power and he has the compassion. The final section of this book, called The Dark Road to Glory, contains several letters and emails written by Ed during his dark days that touch on numerous subjects such as suicide, pain, weeping, and snake oil treatments. Many really helpful standalone letters that really touch into those issues where people so often need quick and gracious instructions. I loved When God Breaks Your Heart. This is an excellent book. I cannot recommend it any higher. This is one that you must put on your future reading list, and I would encourage you to have extra copies to be able to give away to others.